Alrighty, this is gonna be a not really a recap, more of like a review, kind of like my thought process on SpaceX and Tesla. Both of the charts owned by Elon Musk, as everybody probably knows. SpaceX being the most hyped chart currently. So we're gonna talk about it. So basically, before it even came out, I had so many family members, so many friends talking about, oh my gosh, should I get into SpaceX? Guys, usually if you have other people that are not into the stock market telling you to get into a stock, that's the exact opposite thing that you do. And this is exactly what happened, right? Right when it came out, the stock went all the way up crazy because of all of the insiders just to dump it right back to its price on where it started. So, you know what I'm saying? Like me, I didn't fall for the trap because it was obvious for me, but a lot of people got messed up on it. But you got to understand that we're just not at that time yet. Now, if we correlate it together with Tesla, actually we'll start off with SpaceX. All right, so SpaceX, boom, came up. Now we're just looking at liquidity all the way down. Now the good news is we can still find longs, just not yet. In my opinion, what I'm looking at right now, it makes lower highs, lower lows. This could possibly be a start of a range. We pull the range from top to bottom. Bottom to top. We talked about this last time, how this right here, like this is actually a low time frame distribution on top of it respecting the DL tool. Super high probability. Absolutely full port your position if you saw this. Boom, this is your first tap, this is your second tap. Now this is your third tap, rejecting off of the supply. Bro, this is so clean. Boom. Like while retail is trying to long, market makers are just re-shorting the short. So now this is third tap and follow through. Boom. This was all liquidity, so that's why it just dumped extremely fast. So boom. So boom, came down, and then now you're looking at shorts. So basically you would have made like, that's like a 4RR off of that. Now, if you ask, oh, if I would call this as the second tap right here, this thing right here, me personally, we can, but it's not confirmed yet. If you look at Tesla, usually charts like SpaceX and Tesla, the way I think about it, they correlate, but like they reverse correlate. Tesla, on the other hand, here, I'll just delete everything. Tesla, if we just look at it like this, pulling up higher lows and higher highs, boom. As you can see, look at that. The way that market makers just wick that second deviation perfectly. Bring it up, that's our second deviation. This would be considered our third deviation. Too clean. Absolutely too clean. Now, market makers right here as well. Oh, okay, I'll zoom in for this. Right here, when market makers came down, this is some type of accumulation alone, right? This thing right here, this was some type of accumulation. Because market makers put it down, put the price action down to be able to touch the equilibrium. This was some type of distribution right here to short price action. A reject off of the equilibrium to come back down to tap back up. And then now you had this. Now this is very important. This right here, this accumulation, here, we'll even draw it out. Branch low. We'll zoom it in. This right here is demand. Market makers love going to their demand and supply zones. They love accumulating and distributing off of those zones, which is exactly what happened here. You pull the range from top to bottom. This is your second tap. Look at how, bro, my gosh. Look at how market makers literally wicked their body on the DL tool, but still came back up to touch the equilibrium. Absolutely juice. You know what I'm saying? So boom, market makers accumulate. Your breaker structure would have been like somewhere right here. And then you would have just longed it at Narnia, bro. Literally to the freaking roof. Literally to the roof. Look at that. So boom. We'll just delete this. It was cleaner. Now it came up. This is the second deviation. So market makers came down, accumulated to go for the second deviation. Now it came back down to equilibrium, rejected off more demand, bounced off of it. Which is right here, bounced off of it. Now it's making higher lows for higher highs. Pull range from top to bottom. This is clean right here, the way that they're just respecting the bodies from the DL. Same thing right here. This is absolutely clean right here. Pull that down. Now technically, oh my gosh, I need to talk about this as well. If market makers are respecting this range and they're kind of like stacking it against like the thing, but they're still respecting it in a way, +3 confluence. +3 confluence. Boom. So this is going to be your first deviation, second deviation. This is going to be technically your first deviation for the short, second deviation for the short. Now, we're basically just waiting on price action right now. What do I think is going to happen? From what it's looking like, because we're in a compression range, meaning this, basically price action is compressing right now. So usually when this happens, price action usually does an explosive move up or does an explosive move down. What do I think it's going to happen? Technically, market makers can go either way. Since we're on the high time frame distribution, it can do one of like 3 ways. It can come up and then short, right? That's one idea. It can come down, finish off this accumulation right here, and then come back up, right? And then that would give us the third deviation that we're looking for on the low time frame. Boom. Just to reshort it back down on a clean breaker structure, back down, we can get that. Or, wait, hopefully I didn't say this, but, and then it just absolutely dumps. Like, it just dumps. So it dumps all the way, I've already forgot my situation. So it dumps all the way down, it comes down, accumulates back up, or it comes up first to dump down. That's basically what could happen. I'll make these different colors. All right, boom. Ta-da. That's basically what I think. Now, if it does come down, or when it does come down, it's going to be an absolute, like, that shit's just going to shit, like, down to the bottom, bro. The amount of liquidity that there is down here, it's just, yeah. There's no holding this price action. Every single time that market makers made demand, they used it to accumulate back up already. So technically, it's just going to be a flush. And the flush is going to be all the way down to $100, which is insane, right? Now, what does this have to do with SPCX? SPCX, in my theory, is by the time market makers either does any of these moves, because right now we're in a compression. So basically, we're in a very important part of this cycle for both Tesla and SPCX. SPCX, if we pull back our range, we're looking like we're in some type of second tap, because right now, if this is the correct range, this would be our second tap, somewhere down here. Now, if I'm correct, it's still early, so we can't really pull that as our second yet. But in theory, if we're looking at Tesla, if Tesla makes a move, this price action for this should go up. Reject off supply, I'm thinking. This is supply above. And what I would like to see is a nice liquidity trail going down to create that third tap anywhere here in the DL tool to come back up. And I'm looking at new all-time highs, to be honest, just because this is just nothing but liquidity down here. And this would perfectly fit into, by the time we get that third tap, by the time we get the second tap confirmed, this would have showed us on what are we going to get. By the time we get the start tab, Tesla in theory should already be dumping, regardless of what it's doing beforehand. Because on the higher time frame, on the weekly, it's already short. Which is nice. I'm not trying to predict anything. All we're just going to go off of is just probabilities and confirmations. But that's what I would like to see for SpaceX. But until then, I'm clutching my positions. I'm not touching anything for SpaceX. Basically just going to be waiting on Tesla to show more bearish confirmations before I go into SpaceX. Because the theory for both of these is market makers right now are still in Tesla. They already made profits, a bunch of profits off of Tesla stock already. Now, if they're going to dump Tesla stock, you got to think about it. Where are market makers going to put their next positions? The next best positions is going to be obviously in SpaceX. But they still need to accumulate their positions into SpaceX, and that takes time because these market makers, they're dealing with millions, billions of dollars worth of positions. So in order for them to even set themselves up for that and get the money from retail, they need to liquidate retail shorts off of Tesla, go back into SpaceX while they're finessing retail on Tesla. They're already trying to sneaky put their positions into SpaceX. Somebody like me, we're going to catch it. We're going to absolutely long that shit. And go like this, reject off the supply, come down, and then come back up. Doesn't matter how it goes. We're going to trade it only on confirmations, break a structure. You already know how it goes.